to be back. Welcome once again to the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show, Season 2. So we're changing things up a little bit around here. Before, we were doing a method where I would spin a wheel. As everyone knows, everyone watches this show. I'd spin a wheel. Basically, whichever contestant that landed on, I'd have on the show the next week. Yeah, throughout time, there were some inconsistencies where, I missed somebody and I had to redo it, or when I was at Gov Ball and the video was late. But guys, you act like this wasn't the first podcast in this entire campaign realm. I was the first person to do a spectacular podcast. I feel like now I'm not only being disrespected by the committee, but by the spectacular family in a way. I mean, don't get me wrong. Coach Christmas deserves the first pick. Jingle Bombs deserves the second pick. I'm not going to argue about that. Jingle Bombs put on a great campaign. I don't believe it was as good as mine. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. And I don't believe it was as good as some other people, like Mistletoe Matt, like Yuletide Yosef. Like, I want to get into this a little bit further in, but Merry Mattness, the person who I picked to be on this show this week, put on the best rookie campaign in spectacular history, and I will stand on that ground. Nobody has come in and just made that much of a wave and then just been booted out like that. That decision on the committee was shameful. It really was, because that kid had definite potential to make it 6, 7. I mean, maybe not get picked this year, but God, we are seeing some lightning out of that kid, and I'm personally offended and upset the committee would just rip him out like that. Getting back to it, campaign this year, I don't believe I'm second to anybody, and yet I'm looking at third selection right now, hopefully, and I guess hopefully I even get picked. I guess Slate does play a part in it, but then you look at people like Jingle Bombs who, again, not trying to put him down, but he had an amazing year last year, but that was his only year. I've been here longer than basically anybody besides Coach Christmas. I was here when I was the only person here. So, a little bit confused on the committee selections. I personally would have put myself ahead of those two, just given the nature of this campaign, how many people tune in weekly and watch me. And I know I've taken a brief hiatus. I caught a little bit of the spectacular fever, as I'm sure a lot of people have. I mean, when you campaign this hard, and not just me, but everybody, I mean, sometimes life gets in the way, and as stupid as life outside of the spectacular is, sometimes it does take precedent, Getting into this week, though, I picked 3 people to be on the show. Well, actually, 2 the committee chose, being Coach Christmas and Jingle Bombs. So you'll hear from them. I'll break down their video and provide some analysis, basically, of what I think they're saying. And, I just want to make sure that as people get selected, they get the recognition that they deserve. I mean, a lot of times, you see Coach Christmas go first and everybody's all woo for, like 7 to 8 hours. And then you're kind of like, oh, I guess who's going second? But I feel like we worked so hard to get to this point where we are the first overall draft pick, the second overall draft pick, and, following that. I don't think that we should just brush this off as if just some news. Like, this is a big deal. So I want to have those people get a chance to speak and really explain why they think they got picked and where they see everything moving forward in the future. So, first guest I'm going to have on was my pick for this week, Merry Mattness, who, again, I believe ran the best campaign out of any rookie in the history of the spectacular. So, let's hear a little bit from him.
That shit was fire. That shit was actually fucking good. That was the best song I've ever fucking written in my entire life. That shit was so fucking good. Holy shit. The fuck? Whose phone is that? Who the fuck's recording me? Bro, I knew this kid's a fucking weirdo, bro. I knew he would just fucking stick his phone in here and just watch me. Like, he's gonna watch me fucking jerk. Like, Polar Bear Lars, we get it. You're trying to watch me jerk, but like, that's kind of weird, man. Like, what the fuck?
Polar Bear Lars already called out. That's something.
Alright, so like, now that it's recording, I might as well just like get into my rant, but like, So So as you all know, I've been eliminated from draft contention. It is what it is, man. You know, I can't do anything about it. I've been eliminated. They said it's because my my campaign wasn't strong enough. I'd say my campaign was pretty strong. Came out pretty strong. Didn't really finish strong, but you know, we'll get to that in a little. Get that in a few seconds.
I already have a problem with this. His campaign wasn't strong enough. This kid dropped like what 3 songs about the spectacular. Had Jingle Bombs featured on one of them. Made an appearance on Bomb Rookies, and all of this within like what 2 weeks. He started on Halloween and he was out before Christmas. I mean, not strong enough of a campaign. We haven't even seen Cal campaign yet, and this kid was kicked out for lack of campaign. Really?
But the second reason was my slate resume. How am I supposed to have a slate resume if I didn't even know this thing existed last year? Like, clearly I wasn't supposed to be there. Well, not supposed to be there. Clearly I wasn't gonna be there if I had no idea it was even a thing. But you know.
Let me ask a question here. How are we going to allow new rookies into this game when they campaign as hard as this kid did and deny him due to lack of slate, what, 2, 3 weeks in?
It is what it is. Next year, I'll have the slate resume. I probably won't count as a rookie, but I'll have the slate resume maybe. So back to what I was saying about the campaign didn't end strong. So as you all know, me
Bullshit. He had probably the best campaign that week. That week that he was eliminated. He probably had the best campaign here.
me and Jingle Bombs had a little beef. Or actually I had beef. It wasn't anything. He basically was not saying anything to me. I just started beef for no reason. Because I just wanted to. I just felt like it. So it was just like for my rookie bombing. So like I got on his show, so I got a free bombing. So he got to do whatever he wanted, or I got to do him. I told him to do whatever I wanted him to do. So he was gonna hop on a verse, and he was gonna hop on the verse. Blah blah blah. I sent him to it. He said, "Okay, I'll have it done by this weekend." News comes out after the weekend. He doesn't give me the verse. It's like he delays it. Not his fault. He had stuff going on. It is what it is. So it's Monday. We get the news. I'm eliminated. You know, because of my campaign, because I haven't released anything. Because it's been a week and I haven't released a song.
Brief side note, I love Cal, as many people don't, but I kind of do as a friend. But have you ever seen him campaign? Have you ever even seen him even attempt to campaign? Think about it.
But I'm not gonna blame that on Jingle Bombs because you know he made me produce this diss track. It wasn't his fault, but because of him not giving me the verse yet, it gave me more motivation to write another song. And that's exactly what I did. And I wrote a diss track on Jingle Bombs. And I regret it. But we're here now. Jingle Bombs hopped on the verse, he finished the verse, and that shit was straight heat. Me and Jingle Bombs. Don't be surprised if we get another fucking song going.
Let's turn it back a little bit. About 2 years ago, Jingle Bombs comes out. He drops that 9/11 announcing his campaign video. And yeah, we all knew Zeke. For Zeke, throughout high school, some of us did at least. And we all came to embrace his terrorist character. We let the man run circles around the entire spectacular family and get himself a spot in the top 5 his rookie year. And then this kid comes in with a solid character that could even rival something like Jingle Bombs as a spectacular rapper. And he doesn't drop within like a week. And we say like, hey, you don't have as solid enough of a campaign. You don't have a slate. What if we did this to Jingle Bombs 2 years ago?
Like, it's just crazy. Like, he came out here, he started fucking spitting. He was like, Lil Big. Like, that shit, that's different, bro. You don't see anyone doing that. But, I'm eliminated. He's not. That's how it goes.
And so begins the moral debate of the spectacular. How are we going to gatekeep the spectacular from kids who have as much raw talent as this kid? And and still expect to see some great rookie showings in the future. This year we have a fantastic rookie class. But looking forward, if we're going to start denying kids like this a spot because of, lack of slate, then how are we ever going to gain more members into this family? All right. So now we're going to get into the committee's picks. We're going to see Jingle Bombs. We're going to see Coach Christmas. We're going to break down why they think that they got first and second. And we're going to see where they think everybody's looking moving forward. Maybe talk a little bit about their campaign, their slate, and what they expect to accomplish this year. Let's see it. Starting with Jingle Bombs, by the way.
Jingle Bombs, your number 2 overall pick in the 2021 Breakfast with Santa Christmas Spectacular. I'm here on 6S, first episode of season 2, and it's just an incredible honor to be here. I want to shout out Justin, Joe Rogan of the Specky, this Snowflake Smitty. Great show, best pod out there, and a pleasure to be on for your start of your second season. So I'm just here today, big news this week. Jingle Bombs goes number 2 in what people are considering to be a big upset selection. I was the only one who had myself put at number 2, and that, could be expected.
I probably would have kept Jingle Bombs at 3 because I would have put myself above him, naturally. But Jingle Bombs deserves this spot. I think we all underrated him, and we all didn't see what was coming. So I just want to give a shout out to him. Great job this year.
So I just want to address that in my little 3 or 4 minute clip here today. Is I don't really think it was all that controversial of a pick. In fact, I think it was equally as easy a pick as Coach Christmas at number 1.
I mean, am I really that biased by thinking I have the best campaign? Come on, put me at 1 or 2. Just one time. It's been like 3 years. Come on, I proved myself this year. Come on.
Because if you look at it, there's only one other player in the field who has an A on their slate other than Coach Christmas, and that's me, Jingle Bombs. And nobody...
I have argued this stat since the first time I saw it. He has an A on his slate, yes. We also did tie for MVP voting that year. Our performance grade was only determined by his costume being better than mine. Yes, his costume was way better for his character. I didn't have a character. It's not like I went in as the Christmas cock and was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm wearing the cock. Because then there would be a good debate on whose costume was better. Because, mine was just egregious. But are we really going to say that my performance was less than an A? Are we really still at this point in the game? You guys all saw the spectacular recap. You think running around with a bugle, dressed as a rooster, with the hood up, and yelling cock-a-doodle-doo at small children, you really think that was like a B+ just because I didn't come in that costume? I only changed into it 20 minutes in after I had a severe allergic reaction? Really? Listen, I think I performed better than Jingle Bombs last year. He deserves a spot. Not going to argue about that. But if we're talking about the past and we're talking about the grades last year, I should have been the MVP. Hands down.
He's even particularly close, You go all the way to B+ is the next closest, I believe, so that grade somebody has on their slate. So it's if you're looking at somebody with upper end potential, I'm really the only other option. Point number 2 is that the other people I'm competing against all have flaws in their slate. Polar Bear only has 2 years. Liam missed a year in the middle of his, and Snowflake had to leave early 2 years, so he has 2 tough years on his slate as well.
I know I just sound like I'm defending myself here, but where is everyone getting this 2-year leave early thing from? I left 1 time early due to a heart attack, serious health concern, in the 2019-2020 when I was dressed as Morpheus. That was the only time I left early.
Well, additionally, I'm coming off an MVP level performance, finishing tied for second. Another hint that I could be worthy of number 2, and additionally, I have arguably, in my opinion, the best campaign out there, putting together a really solid podcast in Bomb Rookies. On behalf of the rookies, who I want to shout out, Mistletoe and Yuletide. We'll get to them in a minute, but it's been a great campaign out of me. You've seen all sorts of different videos. I've taken a leadership position, advocating on behalf of the rules and how this Becky is set up, and eventually my way of thinking won the day on that. I think that's a overlooked thing. But I'm certainly up there with, undoubtedly top 3 campaigns.
Yeah, I'll agree with this one. His podcast was phenomenal. He did put out some good supplemental videos throughout the course of the year. He was active on Twitter. People such as Polar Bear Lars, Yuletide Yosef, and Mary Mattness, believe it or not, really come into mind too when I think of who was probably the next after me, because we all know that I had the best campaign. Let's stop kidding ourselves.
Along with Snowflake and Mistletoe, I would argue that I'm the top, but certainly up there in campaigns. It's the only A performance. I mean, I think this was a no-brainer, folks. That's all I have to say about that. In terms of who I think is going to be getting picked next, Franklin asked me that very question. I said Snowflake. I think Snowflake Smitty. Joe Rogan of the Specky deserves that number 3 pick. He's got the best show out there. Had run a great campaign, and he's the only other participant who got MVP votes last year in the tie. And he's shown in the past number 1 potential and MVP performance. So even if his slate's a little bit hurt.
I'm complaining a lot about this video, but I really don't want to make it seem like I'm putting Jingle Bombs down. What he's saying is correct. What I'm saying is more of opinion in how I'm reacting to this video, because I'm watching this for the first time as I'm recording these clips. I'm literally stopping it and adding these clips in here. First overall potential, I've gone first overall twice, which is second now, I guess, to Coach Christmas, who's gone first overall 3 times. And MVP potential, I also do have 2 of those under my belt, albeit before we started recording stats, so I guess none of that really matters. Heart attack year, bad year. Never really came with a consistent costume. Didn't have a campaign last year. You can give me all those blows, but pretty much everything else regarding why I don't deserve to be in the top 3 is invalid. I have the best campaign. I had arguably the best showing last year, and I'm one of the original veterans of the Spectacular. I'm the one who saved the Spectacular the one year where nobody else could go, and it was going to end that year unless I could go, and I did go, and I saved the Spectacular. I pioneered the Spectacular podcast. I've been active on Twitter this whole year. I've interviewed every single one, including a mouthpiece, which I was the first person to ever interview a mouthpiece for an extended period of time and posted on YouTube. Come on, really?
Certainly deserves to be number 3. And then I said, give it to the rookies at 4 and 5. Give it to Yuletide and Mistletoe. I mean, those.
Completely agree with him here. Mistletoe, Matt, and Yuletide put on a phenomenal campaign. Problem here is, what do we do with Candy Cane Costa and Polar Bear Lars? The committee's got to be shaken in their boots. They have 5 people who should be in these 3 spots, I mean. And I guess we'll find out where it goes from here.
Those guys, Yuletide with the heartbreaker last year, proved he's every bit as good as the vets. Some of the best moments of the campaign this year, undoubtedly. And Mistletoe Matt, this kid's got flair, he's got potential, and he's been one of the most consistent and unique campaigns out there. I think, in my opinion, the second best campaign after myself. So those are the guys I shout out for 4 and 5. And I love the way the community's really been coming together lately. A lot less hatred going around, a lot more love. Everybody's supporting behind the candidates, and it's really exciting to see. And I'm sure people continue to do that. And it's going to be one bomb of a Spectacular. Signing out, folks. Enjoy the show.
Guys, listen. I came up with the idea for 6S Season 2 probably before the last episode of Season 1 dropped. I had the conversation with Coach Christmas in his car. He said it was a great idea. I told him, listen, whether it's me or you who goes first, that person's going to be speaking on my podcast this week. Obviously, I'm still speaking, but I'm the host. I'm the Joe Rogan of the Specky. Obviously, I can't get enough of myself. But he knew he had to speak on this show. It's been a while since he was drafted first overall. And, the kid's busy. He's digging fences for Bobby Flay and things like that. But, it's 3:47 on Sunday. Podcast comes out in about 4 hours, and I still don't have the video yet, so I am going to have to exclude him from the show. I do want to say a little thing about him, though. Coach Christmas is the model of excellency in the Spectacular. To go first overall 3 years in a row, to lead the veterans, to lead the rookies, to help make sure that everyone has a good time, to really be one of the original founding fathers of not only the Spectacular itself, but of the game of campaign, of the game of stats. No one has ever put in as much effort into this game as Coach Christmas has. he has had a bit of a lackluster campaign this year. I wouldn't even place him in the top 5, to be honest with you, just given the nature of other people's campaigns this year. But undeniably, given all of that, I still believed he was going to go first or at the very least second, just given what he means to the history of the spectacular and what he's done so far for everyone here. I don't know if people are going to be happy or sad that he doesn't make another appearance on 6S, because I know early in the game there was a lot of criticism, but I feel like now at the finish line, when he's already selected and he's not really fighting for anything anymore, he just wants to spread love. I feel like people would have wanted to see him, so that's why I had him on in the first place. But maybe we'll see a little bit from him on the second week when that one comes out, because we'll give him 7 more days to maybe find some time within digging up Bobby Flay's backyard. Yeah, guys, thank you for coming along for season 2 of 6S. I know it's a lot shorter than most of my videos, but I wanted to make this more clear and concise, leave less room for error, and kind of just let everybody speak rather than having one person on a week. I want to give recognition to the people as they're picked. So 3rd overall pick, if it's not me, that person will be speaking on this show next week, and I'll do the same thing that I did with Jingle Bombs and kind of break down their analysis on why they think they got picked on the campaign and everyone's future looking forward. I had a lot of fun recording this. This is probably the first time I've had genuine fun recording a video in a while, because let me tell you, campaign fatigue really catches up to you. And for a while it did hit me. That's why I had to take a week off, because listen, if we're being transparent, this does eat away at your free time a lot. And I want to make sure that I'm still voicing my opinions on the spectacular and still, letting other voices be heard, even though I cut them off every couple seconds. So I don't really know what the point of this is, other than I want to extend a hand to the people who I think were unfairly treated and to raise up the people who I think deserve the recognition that they got. So hopefully you guys like this this little strategy, this video. I do have another idea coming forward. I don't know if I'll be using it this year or for next year, but Joe Rogan's got some stuff in the tank, and I just want to wish you guys luck. It's gonna be tough from here on out. Everyone knew Coach Christmas was going first. Jingle Bombs, we knew he was going like top 3 minimum. Now we're looking at some sort of field. So want to wish everybody the best of luck, and hope to see you guys at the spectacular. I know I'll see you guys there. So thanks.